Good morning, Steph. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. I'm feeling richy,
Richie for
richy at heart.
life. Yeah.
Richy at heart. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Yeah, lots of news going on this week. I do feel like it's bubbling now, the transfer market.
Mm. Well, it
Um,
officially opens in 2 days? Officially. So
yeah. Good shout. Yeah, so maybe it's the sign of the times. But
absolutely.
yeah, I'm quite happy to see some movement. I feel like we're in a bit of purgatory after Reinders and constant worry of if is tail going or not. So things looks like things are starting to unfold, which is I don't know if you maybe depends what your type of Milan fan you are. You might be excited about it or not, but at least from what I can see, I can understand and actually start to get with the strategy. But we can come on to that in a bit.
Yeah.
How you
No,
been?
it's been I think like you say, it's like the precursor. I think July is going to be really, really busy. We're going to be doing lots of business. But yeah, things have actually I would say that this market has started off in a very logical way. I think we have benefits that we don't not in a Club World Cup, and we've got a lot more time, and we've obviously got a sporting director. But you know what I mean? It feels a lot more methodical this time around. And I want to also, before we move on, just to mention quickly that I think Ollie said in the bonus pod um, about how, from our perspective now, we've kind of like stopped the leaks. Like there are leaks, but there's lots of things that are happening that you don't really hear about straight away. Even Ricci, which we have now done, it kind of went quiet, didn't it? It was back burner. Kind of found out maybe a little bit about Shaka, but maybe they're separate. And then all of a sudden it's done. So that's quite a positive thing. I want to know what you think currently about the market and the links and everything like that.
Yeah, I think it's we should probably get used to that. To be honest, I think that's
Mm.
been the nature of how activity has gone over the last 2 or 3 seasons. I think there are some transfers that take a while for negotiations to sort of unfold. Like CDK is a prime example.
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing something similar with Jashari potentially, where like it's first, second, third bid, and then the sporting director having to go to Bruges and maybe negotiate. Whereas signings like Ricci and multiple other ones in the past we've seen, really a lot of the work is done in the shadows, and then essentially you just find out when it's the 11th hour and it's okay, it almost finalized, and it's basically, oh my god, it's taken us by surprise. So I think we have to kind of take every name that we're rumored with a pinch of salt, because it could ultimately be another name. So for good or worse, that should be probably the case. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the names so far, it'll probably be more. There's a massive amount of outgoings, and still required from an outgoings perspective, because we covered it in length with the amount of players coming back from loan. Your Okafors, Pobega, Benacer, Yassine Adli, and then you have like the other names like Malik Chow potentially being sold to Como. Teo Hernandez is obviously off to Saudi Arabia, and I feel like I'm missing someone here. Oh, Yunus Musa, who looks like he's Premier League bound. God knows why, but fair enough. And then from an incomings perspective, I think the names mostly over-indexing in the midfield, which I think we can both agree on was the most required department
it's a good approach. Definitely.
Yeah, and specifically on players who can play a 4-3-3, players who I think comes back down to Modric and Ricci and Jashari and Xhaka. Slow down the tempo of the game, and we're not over-indexing in too many of these pure box-to-box midfielders who, in my mind, don't really have a way of an IQ of controlling a game and the tempo of football. And I think specifically in Italian football, where speed isn't everything and goals from the midfield isn't everything, I think control is most important. Signings like Modric, Xhaka, Ricci, Jashari are going to do us wonders, because they're going to enhance players like Fofana, and also, I think give less of a worry of getting goals from the midfield, because people are talking about Ricci's stats. I'm not looking at Ricci as someone who's going to get lots of goals. I don't care about Ricci getting goals.
Me too. Yeah.
It's about the progression of the midfield and how he can
control of the midfield as well.
Control of the midfield. Yeah. That's the same with Modric. It's the same with Xhaka. It's the same with Jashari. Their job is really to control the tempo, to control momentum, which is so key in Italian football, and then enhance the chances for the likes of what we should be doing is signing high caliber, speedy fullbacks with the wingers and with the strikers. Then that's where the goals and the assists should be coming from. Their job is really just to knuckle down in that midfield, which is pure. That's Allegri ball down to a T. So yeah, really happy with the midfielders. And then I think the one question mark I've got, which I've just kind of touched on, is the fullbacks who we're signing, because obviously Teo's out the door. Calabria and Florenzi obviously no longer. I think Calabria's gone. I don't think his contract would have expired this summer, so he's gone. Or
Calabria, you mean Florenzi?
Florenzi, but I think, do we think Calabria had...
Calabria is it Bologna? He sold him, I swear.
Oh, was he gone? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
He's gone.
He was sold, yeah.
I think it's, because his contract was only up until 2025 when we loaned him. But regardless, yeah. So Florenzi and Calabria probably can't be called upon again. Walker's gone. Emerson Royale's linked to a loan deal back to Real Betis. So we essentially have no left backs and no right backs, have we?
Yeah.
I mean, other than Alex Jimenez at right back and Bartizaghi at left back.
Yeah, the fullbacks are an issue in the sense that we haven't been linked with a lot of names. They're clearly focusing on getting the midfield done as a priority, which I again agree with that approach. You can't expect them to be signing, 3 players a week or whatever over a couple of weeks. It will take time, and it opens up in a couple of days, right? I think what I'm really happy with, and I, with that being said, I think the fullback options will come. They will come. But what I really like is how we've really been concrete with those loan options. Thank you, Kyle. Instagram post. See you later. Thank you, Drow. See you later. Sotil, so on, and even with Tammy, because I'm so glad we didn't buy Tammy, and I really appreciated Tammy's goals. But I'm really happy with how we're. I know people will be like, "Oh, it's just an Instagram post. They could do a little bit more," but I'm quite happy with that. We had a problem with leadership. We had a problem with effort. These players weren't up to scratch. Move on. So I like what we're doing at the moment. I really do. I like how we're approaching it. I'm hoping it's the Tarry influence, but it is good. It is good. What do you think about the Jashari links? It looked like it was almost done. Still very keen. Apparently, everyone's saying that Tare's on a blitz and he's not giving up, and this, that, and the other. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I would really